Every image records a crime, but catching the criminals behind this colossal, ever-growing catalogue of child abuse presents huge challenges. Kent Police's child exploitation team is one of the largest in the country, 16 officers strong.
And he'll get a bit of time for that though, won't he? So.
But with an estimated 50,000 British men regularly accessing illegal images, this team has developed strategies to focus its efforts.
And what we're prioritising are those that actually are going to abuse and be raping children, those types of offences, so we can really get through the door, find the child and protect them as soon as possible. That doesn't mean we're not going to take action on other cases, but what it means is that where there's a lot of harm, that's where we're going to be.
Often it starts with a tip-off. A member of the public reported finding this webpage. It was on a site hosted in Germany, but investigators traced it back to a man living in Yolding in Kent, Darren Leggett. Close liaison with the German authorities enabled Kent Police to set up a sting, using an officer posing as a paedophile with access to children.
Leggett ultimately decided that he was prepared to pay for sexual activity with those children. That allowed us to also obtain from Leggett copies of videos that he had created of himself committing child abuse.
Officers raided Leggett's flat and he was arrested. He's now serving an indeterminate jail term for 31 offences, including 4 of child rape.
But it doesn't stop there. In any investigation, there's always going to be looking for any little tendrils leading out from that offender to other offenders. We won't stop until we've milked every last piece of intelligence from a case.
And that requires the analysis of vast amounts of data stored on confiscated hardware. This is the property store for the Digital Forensics Unit at Kent Police. There's over 1,000 computers and laptops here. 70% of them have been referred by teams investigating child abuse images.
We've got the blue light on, so there's no indecent images on the screens.
To keep up with the criminals, the police must keep pace with the technology. That's Russell's job. He runs the Digital Forensics Lab.
Nowadays, we wouldn't see, it wouldn't be unusual to see 3 or 4 computers come through the door with loose hard drives that have been taken out of older computers, and it's what we've got to look at.
The detection techniques required are constantly evolving, but there's always the same motivation.
Sometimes you can see something and it genuinely is so horrific that, you know, your heart's going, you feel sick, because that is actually something that is the worst thing you've seen in your life. The balance is that you then know you can do something about it. I think if we couldn't do something about it, it'd be an impossible weight to bear. But because we can, it's, you know, we say, okay, that's a crime scene, what can we do about it? So a lot of these offenders are actually in prison.
For each of the last 4 years, Kent Police has arrested more offenders and protected more child victims. Critics say the investigation of child exploitation online is woefully underfunded and under-resourced. But this team leaves those arguments to the politicians, while they get on with their job. Tessa Chapman, 5 News, Kent Police Headquarters.